room. Now disable the waiting room. So remove the check mark from enable waiting room. And hit admit all, and you're good to go. Good luck, guys. You got this.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, Liz, we got people entering the waiting room. I love it. They're in the waiting room. They're admitting. They're getting ready. They're getting ready to get their minds blown over here with some first-time home buyer nuggets.
Absolutely. Welcome, welcome to everyone who has joined.
Yeah, have some people asking to be admitted. Sherry's Thomas, I'm gonna admit that. Melissa Vaughn for iPhone, Lisa, Shanice, Sherry Lewis, Nichols.
What are you reading over there?
I'm just reading the names of the people that are getting admitted to the waiting room, into the Zoom.
Yes. We are super excited to have everybody on. We are right at 7 o'clock.
Yep.
So I think we'll give people another minute or two to log on, and then we are going to get started.
In the meantime, Nikki, ask them where they're from.
Absolutely. Folks, type in the chat where you are located. We would love to see where everyone's joining us from.
I'll start it off. Concord, I love it.
Concord,
Concord.
Charlotte, Concord,
Annapolis.
Annapolis.
I love it.
I am
Florida.
Concord as well. Heck, Florida.
Right?
All right. All right, folks. Well, we will go ahead and get started. I know it's a little later in the evening, but we really appreciate you joining us. I am Nikki with eXp Realty, and my co-host here is Angelo with Leverage Lending. And we are going to be talking to you guys about the process of first-time home buying, what to expect, what to prepare for, answer questions you may have, that type of thing. Albemarle. I was born and raised in Albemarle. You cannot tell from this lovely accent.
Midland as well.
Midland. I built a house in Midland. Oh, that's Sandy. Hey, Sandy. I know her.
So is it Midland or Midland?
Well, I guess it depends on your dialect. I say Midland.
Gotcha.
You know, whatever. All right. So first time home buyers, we're so glad to have you. We're going to talk about mistakes we want you to avoid. So here we go. I want to get everybody engaged a little bit in this webinar. So tell me in the chat how you are feeling, or how you feel about even the thought of being a first-time home buyer, kind of getting started on this process. Are you concerned? Are you stressed? Are you intimidated? Are you excited? Motivated? Hopefully by the end of this webinar, we will have more excited and motivated. Nervous. That is completely understandable.
Mixed, motivated, but
yep, optimistic and ready. I like it.
All right.
Very good. Right now, but homes are expensive. I get that. I get that. We're gonna talk about that. Hopefully ease some anxiety. I know there's a lot going on right now in the market. There's a lot of people that talk and share opinions and things that may not be factual. So that's our goal, is to share the facts with you guys and make sure that you are more comfortable and that you understand the process, and that you know that regardless, you know, Angelo and I both, our teams are here for you, And, we want to partner with you guys. We want to get you on that path to home ownership, and we are going to be with you every step of the way. So that hopefully will bring a little bit of ease to some of the anxiety. So to start it off, we're going to do a little first time home buyer trivia. So I want you guys to type in the chat, what do you think is the average age of a first time home buyer? 25, 30, 35, very good, 30. Huh, you guys are like right there. So the average age of a first time home buyer is 34. But if you are younger or older than 34, don't let that discourage you. I have had 60 and 70-year-olds recently who we were able to celebrate their first closing on their first home. And we celebrate just as hard, whether you're 18 or whether you're 80. Love it. All right, question number 2. How much cheaper is it per average to buy a home versus renting a home? And this is a percentage.
Yeah, use a percentage on this.
Man, you guys, 35%, 60%, 20%,
Okay.
45%. Very good. Very good. All right. I love that you guys are engaged and participating.
Yeah, this is
Awesome.
great.
Awesome. So the answer to that is around 44%. So that is a big misconception that a lot of people have, is that I'm just going to continue renting because it's too expensive to own a home. That is not true.
Right.
It's actually a lot more affordable to own the home than to rent, because essentially you're paying for the landlord's vacations and things like that, but you're not invested in anything that's going to provide you a return.
And the only thing you take with you is the furniture. So, and sometimes you just leave it there. So.
That's, yes, they do. We have experienced that 100%. Okay, next one. Who pays the realtor's commission?
Good job on that, Christian.
Ooh,
Seller.
we do. Seller,
No.
buyer, owner,
No.
buyer. So this too is a big misconception that
Yeah.
first time home buyers have.
I'm interested. It's interesting to see that people, that everybody's, a lot of people are chiming in that the buyer has to pay for that.
Yeah.
I would have never thought that, but yeah, that's
It is
interesting.
not the buyer.
Nope.
The seller pays all the real estate commission. So when you meet me and you bring me on as your agent, which I'm sure you will, you do not pay my commission. You do not pay the commission for the home that you purchase. So that is fantastic. You don't have to worry about that. Not an expense you have to worry about. All right, last question. Angelo, I'm going to let you take this one.
I'll take this one. Is it okay to open a new line of credit if you have applied for a mortgage and you're currently going through the mortgage process? Yes or no?
I mean, I'm going to need new furniture for my new home. I can't go get a credit card.
Right. I mean, you can't get that 0% before you close. 0% at Best Buy. You can't apply for that card.
Right. Good.
Okay.
I see the answers. People are, at least apparently they're knowledgeable about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna applaud you guys on that, because there's still some people that I work with that try to open up a card during the process. So I'm going to commend you guys on that, guys and girls.
Yes. The worst thing for agents and lenders both is to get to the closing table day of and find out they went and bought a new car a couple of days before.
Yep.
Or they bought something extravagant and now they've jacked up their loan. So
they opened up a new line of credit, or they opened up a credit card, because trust, we know. We know. When you open up, we know when you open something. So,
like I said, we're with you every step of the way, but we are with you. So we know what's going on, because our goal is to get you to that closing table and get
correct.
you into your new home.
And Nikki, but I want to add, we're not the IRS. We're not the credit police. You talk to us about what you know, you have questions, you think you may need to do something, you don't know for sure, you talk to us because we're like your attorney. It's client privilege, confidentiality privilege is with us. So just don't you worry about that. You ask us everything you need to know. Anything you need.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. And two, kind of on that same line, you know, don't be nervous if your credit is not quite where it needs to be, or, you know, you're just really concerned about the financial side, because we want to help guide you through that.
Yep.
So it may very well be that you're not ready right this second, but we can get you there. So that's what we want to do. It's not just we want to hop in there if you're ready to go and you have a perfect credit score and you have $100,000 in the bank. No, we know that first time home buyers, that's not typically the case. So we want to walk with you every step of the way until we get you to where you need to be. All right. With that being said, my name is Nikki, again, with eXp. I am a part of the Heather Littrell Group here in Cabarrus County, and I love our team. So what our team brings to the table is over 25 years of experience. We are very well known and respected in the community due to our fantastic team lead, Heather Littrell, who has poured into us. She has excellent leadership skills, high expectations, and we love that because that pushes us to be the best, to know what's going on in the industry, to know what our clients need, and to consistently go above and beyond with each and every client. And I think that we do a fantastic job of that. We do help with buyers and sellers. So either or, we are happy to help. I typically do assist more on the buyer side because I specialize in first-time home buyers. And we're going to talk about that here on the next slide, where I get to talk about myself for just a quick minute. So I am originally from Stanley County, if you cannot tell by my voice. That's why I'm loving those Albemarle's going out there. I do have 3 specialties that I focus on, one of which is first-time home buyers. I also have a senior specialty, and I love this. I will have some webinars coming up at a later date to talk about this, but I am a social worker. That's my background. And I have worked with senior adults for over a decade, and they are my heart. And helping them to downsize or, you know, transition into a safer home or into a long-term care community is one thing that I love to do and I'm very passionate about. And also lease to own options. So that's kind of if you're in the first-time home buyer boat and maybe you're close, but you're not quite ready, but you want to get into the house that you will eventually buy, then I can assist with that as well. So that's something that after this webinar, you'll have the opportunity to book a call with me and we can kind of talk about what your specific situation is and what we need to do to get you where you want to be. I do have a little fun fact on here because I love webinars that are not so by the book and, you know, monotonous, but I am a karaoke DJ as well. And I have done karaoke for years and years and years, and I love it. I did a short stint as a Patsy Cline impersonator in college. So it was a lot of fun. I love music. It's just a big, big part of my life. So that is that little tidbit about me. Here we have some reviews. So we did want to include some reviews that kind of talk a little bit about what others think about us, because we can sit here and toot our own horns and talk about how great we are, but it's what our clients say about us that matters. And having these reviews from my first timers that just, you really talk about what I said. You know, I am as genuine as they come, and I will do whatever needed for my clients. I'm very tenacious. I always joke around and pick with people and say I'm sweet as Southern sweet tea, but when it comes to my clients, I'm tenacious. So that is always a good combination, I think. And without further ado,
Southern sweet tea. I like that.
Co-host with the most. Take it away.
All right, everybody. Once again, thank you guys and gals for joining. My name is Angelo Dotseros. My real name is Evangelos, but I go by Angelo because confuses people sometimes. I am the president and CEO of Leverage Lending Group here in Uptown Charlotte. I have been in the business this year, September of this year will be 15 years that I have had my company. I opened up my doors in September of 2007, and it's been 15 years in September. I've been in the business since 2002. And I am an advocate of the mortgage broker channel. And if you don't know, what the mortgage broker channel is, basically a mortgage broker is not a bank. We're going to kind of get into that slide in a little bit, but so we'll kind of leave it for that. But I'm a member of the Association of Independent Mortgage Experts. We are a big national group that has a lot of members in the nation. And when it comes to loan products, programs, things like that, if for some reason we can't figure out a problem child, then I have a bunch of resources that I can reach out to kind of figure out where to place that particular client in that loan for that loan program. So I have in my tenure, I've closed over 900 million in loan volume. In 2009, as you can see, I was awarded the Certified Residential Mortgage Specialist with the National Association of Mortgage Brokers. I'm also, like I said, the member of Association of Independent Mortgage Experts. I'm really trying to, and what we do here in my office, and I have a team of 6 right now, and between processors, operations, loan officers alike, we try to make this as seamless as possible for our clients when it comes to the loan process, because look, it can be clunky. There's a lot of paperwork involved, but we try to do everything. We try to do it with the passive least resistance. We try to do everything we can electronically. We try to validate your income electronically, your assets electronically. Sometimes we can't do that, so we'll have to get paper uploaded, but everything we try to do, we're trying to take the headaches out of the loan process to where it's not as stressful. And our company motto is lending made easy, because we know how lending can be tedious, and so we try to make it easy for you. I do have my lovely wife at home who's expecting in September, so I have that to look forward to, and I have a little fur baby, Zoe. She turned 6 this year. Fun fact about me, I'm not sure if you guys know, but the show Homeland, that show that was filmed here in Charlotte for a few years, I had a speaking role on that show, and so I'm semi-famous. You're speaking to someone that's semi-famous over here.
Me too. No, I'm just kidding. I think I am. Kind of look like a movie star in that head.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a little fun fact about me, and I do acting in improv in Charlotte. So yeah, that's me.
Interesting. I learned something new because I didn't know that.
I like to keep that under wraps. I don't like to, and here's some of my reviews here. As you can see, I'll just kind of read one of them over here from Colleen Forcina. Angelo's hands down the best. As first-time homebuyers who came in the process pretty clueless, Angelo made it extremely smooth and painless. Felt completely taken care of under his wing, extremely on top of things, responsive and helpful. Even with the rounds and rounds of question, I made it fun and awesome personality. So we try to make it fun as well too. We use videos in a lot of our in our process too. We try to rehumanize the experience, and it's all about the client experience, right? So try to make sure that we get you in the loan program that you need, that you need, and also make it a pleasant experience as well. So.
Awesome. All right. What are the steps to home ownership? Well, your first step is coming to this class. So congratulations.
Yep. Congrats.
Step 1. So what we're going to do is towards the end of the slide, you will get the links on how to follow up with both myself and Angelo, and you'll have our contact information, all that good stuff. So I know a lot of this is just a lot of information, but just know this is just kind of the overview. This is just to educate you a little bit, but you will have the opportunity to ask questions here shortly. And of course, we will follow up afterwards so that we make sure that you caught everything, that you're comfortable, and that if you need anything clarified, we're able to do that. So of course, part two, the pre-approval with your mortgage broker. If you are one of those that says, I've already been doing my due diligence and I've been working and I feel confident that I am ready to take the next step, then this link that's right here on this slide actually goes straight to the application for Angelo. So you can go ahead and start your pre-approval and kind of get that step underway. Now, pre-approval is something that is a super big deal, and we'll talk about that here in a few slides. With the market the way that it is and houses moving quickly and having a lot of interest, so we do have more buyers than we have sellers. So because of that, the pre-qualification is required ahead of time. So basically, we'll talk about the benefits and the why, but of course, we want to make sure we're not looking at houses that are way outside your price range, or we're not, wasting your time, taking you out to all these different places if we need to be looking in a different direction. And the same goes with on the high end or the low end. I have a lot of people that say, well, I just think that I qualify for this much, and this is probably where I'm going to be. But when they get their pre-qualification and they see how things are broken down, and they see that the amount of their monthly payment does not change that much when they have to go up a little bit, then a lot of times they can get into the home that they really want versus feeling like they have to settle for something else. So step 3, house hunt with me. So after you get that pre-approval, then we're going to get you set up. I'm going to get you set up on an email drip that will send you the latest listings that match the criteria that you're looking for. And we will communicate frequently so that we both know what's going on when we go look at houses. When you find what you're looking for, then I will take care of all the back end, all of the negotiating, actually doing the offers, taking care of scheduling inspections and all of that jazz. I take care of all of that for you. So really what we want you to do at the Heather Littrell Group especially is we want you to be able to enjoy this process as much as possible and it be not as stressful as it could be. So we want to be able to let you enjoy looking at houses and not having to worry about all the little details that go into it that I'll take care of on the back end. All right. Angelo.
All right. First time home buyers. This is what we're here for, right? So let's go to that next slide. So first time home buyers. Let me ask the first time home buyers in here. Go ahead and put it in the chat. How many think that you need to put at least 20% down to purchase a home? Go ahead and throw it in the chat box there. Anybody, what do you think that you need for a down payment to purchase a home?
Got a yes. I feel like I need to have the game show sound. Yes, yes, yes.
You think there's 20, you need to put 20% down. Gotcha.
I love that y'all are saying yes.
Yeah.
Like that is why we're doing this webinar. I love it.
Yep. Okay, and that's so, yeah, thank you guys for chiming in. That's a very common misconception. You do not need 20% down to purchase a home. You don't need 10% down to purchase a home if you're first time home. You don't need 5% down to purchase a home. You can purchase a conventional loan or an FHA loan. You need as little as 3% down, and we offer some first-time home buyer incentives here too to kind of alleviate some of those pain points with that 3% as well. So for first-time home buyer program. So once again, thank you guys for answering. So let's give you an example, because me and Nikki were working on an example like this just the other day. So this is a client of ours that is looking to purchase a home. Purchase price of this home was $268. The minimum down payment required for a conventional loan for a first-time home buyer. Now, for first-time home buyer, that means you can't you can't have, purchased a home within the last 3 years.
Mhm.
So 3% down payment, minimum down payment requirement, so it's 8,040. Depending on your income level, and it's depending, that all depends on the area as well. So it's called area median income. So then we can look that up by the county and by the area once we have the address of the property. Minimum down payment for that is, like I said, 8,040 for 3%. You could get up to $2,500 to go towards down payment and or closing costs, depending on your income. So the remainder of that down payment is 5,540, and the closing costs are estimated, with that. And when I say closing costs, I'm talking about all of the escrows, the attorney fees, any lender fees that may be included in that. So that's total 4,050. Of course, it's going to vary per home, but we're just kind of using, estimates right now for these numbers. So, that's basically it. So that you don't need, 5 or 10% or 20% down to purchase a home, whether it be, conventional or FHA. So,
And there are some situations as realtor where, if the closing costs are a struggle or something that you're concerned about, sometimes we have ways to help alleviate some of that. So kind of depending on the situation. So we can talk about that a little bit later as well.
yeah. So lender requirements. Now, this is very important. Each loan program, when it talks about, perfect types of mortgages, you have your conventional loans, you have your FHA loans, you have your USDA and VA. Now, conventional or FHA, conventional is 3% down payment. FHA is 3.5% down payment, and that's the FHA loan is one. We'll get into this as well, as backed by the federal government. But USDA. How many people think of meat when you hear USDA, right? So a USDA loan is basically what that loan program is. It's 100% financing of the purchase price, okay? 100% financing of the purchase price, but it's in certain areas in and around Charlotte. There's maybe 1 or 2 little pockets in Charlotte that may be eligible, but it's like on the outskirts of town. Usually it's in very low populated areas. So there is some areas out in Cabarrus County, there's some area in Iredell, there's in Union. So there are some pockets that what they did for this particular program is they want to help saturate those areas. They want to help bring people into those rural areas to build those areas up, and that's what the reason they've made this loan program. And of course, VA is Veterans Administration. The government made this for our vets who have served our country. That is also 100% down payment, 100% of the sales price of the property. So very great programs. So conventional 3%, FHA 3.5%, USDA is 0% down payment, and so is VA. Now that's about the sales price. Closing costs and escrows and things like that, you do have to pay for that out of pocket, but so that's your responsibility. But so it's zero down payment of the sales price. So and there's definitely different guidelines between each program. We don't have to go into the nuances of those, but so the FHA loan, what an FHA loan is basically it's insured by the federal government. And what the federal government does is they insure the lender in case of default, not you as the borrower. They insure the lender in case you default. So typically you're going to have different requirements when it comes to those loans, a little bit more lenient. Because the lender knows that if you default, they're going to get their money back. So it's insured by the government. So great loan program. Usually FHA loans are more suited for the lower credit score buckets. Like let's say, your 580 to 640, 580 to 620, things like that. And then kind of conventional will pick up after that. So very, very great info. Okay. And then we have the first-time home buyer programs, Freddie Mac, and Fannie Mae. Like I said, that 3% down, and the FHA is the next one. So benefits of FHA loans, kind of like I was talking about on the previous slide. 3.5% down payment. You can get it lowest 580 credit score. You can do lower than a 580 credit score, but the more down payment is required, and a lot more, it's scrutinized a lot more in underwriting if you have lower than a 580 credit score. It's a great refinance opportunity if you have an FHA loan, if rates do drop, which they will drop lower. They do have lower mortgage rates than conventional. You can get higher debt ratios accepted, so you can maybe get a little bit higher of a sales price with FHA, and they have the same thing, the same terms, 15, 20, 25, 30-year terms, or adjustable as well. So,
yeah. And this is something too, that with your credit scores and things like that, like I said, don't let that, intimidate you too bad, because, we have people we can connect you with to help with credit repair. There's some tips and tricks that I can share with you that will help boost that up. One of which is just, and of course, everybody knows, paying your debts on time, not having a whole slew of debt, not having a ton of credit cards, trying to get all of that, paid down and just kind of managed well will bump your score quicker than anything.
yeah. So conventional loan. So basically what a conventional loan is a loan that is not backed by the federal government, right? But they're basically guaranteed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, right? So Fannie Mae was created in 1932 after the market crash back in the early 30s, and then Freddie Mac was basically created in the 70s, 1978, if I'm not mistaken, to compete with Fannie Mae. So they're two, you're kind of like, an older sister and a younger brother. So, and so many conventional loans are securitized and sold in the secondary market to Fannie and Freddie. Here are the main differences between an FHA and a conventional loan. So it really all depends on where you stand. So every person is different, okay? In every scenario is different. Every need that you have is different. So it's great to get with a knowledgeable local mortgage professional like myself to kind of go over these programs with you. So FHA versus conventional. So FHA on the left hand side here, you see minimum down payment 3.5%, 580 credit score, max about 50% debt ratio, loan limit in Mecklenburg County, because each county is different, 420,000. Income limit, there's no income cap. Minimum out of pocket is 3.5% of the sales price. Flip over to conventional, you have 3% down payment minimum credit score is 620. Maximum debt to income ratio varies, but it's around the 44.9 mark. The loan limit for 2022 is 647,200. There is no income limit, and it's 3% of the sales price for minimum down payment. I know we're throwing a ton of information at you, so don't freak out, don't get overwhelmed. We got you, we got your back. You got any questions, we can all talk about this. After you can book a consultation with us and all that. So don't get too overwhelmed. So, quick question. So I'm going to break this up a little bit. Do you think you can show up to the closing table with a sack of cash in a black duffel bag for closing? Yes or no? Go ahead and put it in the chat box. Can you use a bunch of cash in a duffel bag and bring it to the closing table? No. All right. No. Perfect. No. That's what I was hoping everybody would say. No. No.
I'm glad to see everybody's still with us.
I know, right? So you can't use cash because it cannot be verified. It cannot be documented. We want to make sure you didn't rob a bank. You want to make sure somebody didn't give you a loan in cash or something like that. So what you can use is 401k retirement accounts. You can use a gift from a family member. It could be cousins, uncles, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, all that, right? So you can ask somebody for a gift. And if you have, stocks, bonds, or cash, you can use that, that's of course verifiable in a bank. What you cannot use is a cash advance on a credit card, a loan, or undocumented cash, as I was asking. So thank you for everybody's answering no. Black duffel bags of cash are not allowed at the closing table. And buyer's ability to repay. So long time ago, the housing crash, everybody remember the housing crash in 2008. Well, basically there were no guidelines, no rules set in place to make sure that borrowers could actually repay the loans that they were given, right? So there's a quick question right there. How much of a gift can you use from others? That is a fantastic question, Ms. Pfeiffer. You can use 100% gift money. So if it's 3% or if it's 5%, 10%, any amount of that gift you can use. So whether it be, yeah, so just anything.
And I have told some of my first time home buyers who, you know, there again, may be a little concerned about, you know, the down payment or the closing costs or whatever. If their family wanted to throw them a housewarming party, instead of doing that, in lieu of doing that, just ask for assistance. You ask for, you know, the money to be able to, you know, pay everything down that you need to pay. And a lot of family members, of course, are totally okay with that.
Yeah, and there's ways that that we on the mortgage side can help you toward with some of those closing costs, because we can, you know, if there's room, we can increase your interest rate to give you cash back at closing, not cash in your hand, but to pay for some of those costs. So we can get very creative. Don't worry about it. We can talk about it and figure out the best route for you. So ability to repay, I was going about with the crash, right? So they call it basically the ATR rule, the ability to repay rule in the Dodd-Frank Act in 2010, the SAFE Act that came around. You have to prove ability to repay. There's no more stated income. There's no more saying you make $10,000 a year and we're not proving it. Those loans are gone. There's all really good paper in the market right now. So you have to be able to repay the loan. The property has to be sufficient, which is the collateral. And then of course your willingness to repay.
Very good. All right, kids. Q&A. Who has questions?
So that was a fantastic question from Ms. Pfeiffer. I think
That really was. That was awesome.
Yeah, apologize if I'm not pronouncing the name right. Pfeiffer. So yeah, anybody else, do you have questions about anything? Go ahead and ask away right now. We're gonna have another Q&A, I'm assuming, right?
We are.
At the
We're
end
going
of
to do
this
another
call.
one at the end.
Yeah.
Also on this slide, you guys will see we do have a booking link. So this is where you can go ahead and schedule a chat with me or with Angelo. And I'm going to put it in the chat as well, so that again we can talk about, you know, whatever. Oh, sorry, I just typed that in the wrong place. But that way, again, we can follow up and answer any questions that you have. Did that show up right, Angel?
Yep.
Perfect.
There.
Everybody good?
You're just saving your questions for later.
Here's one. Oh, here's two. Here we go.
Okay. All right. Is there a max to the amount of funding that can be provided in first-time homeowner programs? Max funding, max amount of funding. Are you talking about like max loan amount, Vanessa? Yes. So conventional loans, and that's a fantastic question. The conventional guidelines, the maximum conventional loan limit is $647,200. Anything above that goes into jumbo financing, which has a lot different qualifications and requirements when it comes to down payment, credit score, and all that. So great question. It's fantastic. Did that answer your question? I hope that answered your question. Can you assist in building a home on land? So that is a construction loan. Depends on if you have the land previous to it or not. There are some construction loans out there in the market. So that is a possibility. So it all depends on, credit, requirements, credit worthiness, and assets and things like that. Much higher requirements to do a construction loan than like a regular a stick-built home. So same question about land. My partner makes more money, but I've been working longer and have better credit. Would be better to apply a loan? So Candace, that's a great question. It all depends. When we do go off of when we do a joint application, we do go off of the lower credit score, but it all depends on what those scores are. So we can potentially put you in an FHA loan if the better credit scores, warrant us to put you there, or a conventional loan. So yes and no, depending on your situation. So That's a fantastic question. And that's something that we have to dive into for your specific scenario. So that's a fantastic question. So Vanessa, yes, and then Vanessa, no. Did we not answer her question?
And I do love that I am already seeing some folks booking appointments with me. So those are coming through. My phone's popping off. So please feel free, go ahead and book that now, and we can follow up with you and make sure that we get your questions fully answered.
Okay. All right. So there's another question up here. It says, how much income do you need to be making to qualify for loans? So that all depends on what you're trying to buy. And so what I like to, how I approach the loan process is, it's not, I may be able to get you approved for much more than you think I can get you approved for, but I like to take the approach of, I'm not making the mortgage payment, you are. So I'm going to tell you, hey, what do you feel comfortable with making payments per month? 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, whatever that case may be. And I can back into a sales price with that figure. So I can say, okay, with your comfortability level, this is where you should land, whether it be 250, 300,000, give or take a little bit. So like I said, I want to make sure that you're not house poor. A lot of people like to, dump on their money into the house and not have, money to do much else. We're not in this to do that to you 100%. We're going to make sure you're comfortable in your mortgage, the mortgage payment, and then any other bills that you have currently. So if that answers your question.
Absolutely. And I do love, speaking on that, one thing that Angelo's group does that I have not seen is how he breaks down different price points. So there is no you being left in the dark or you not knowing, exactly what to expect. He can break it down and show you, if you want to make an offer on a house that's $280,000, this is what you're going to need to put down. This is what you're going to be responsible for. This is what your monthly payment will be after your insurance and all that's included. So I love that because there's no guesswork. And just like he said, we are not going to, intentionally, aim to put you in a position that's not going to be beneficial for you and your family. So I have had situations plenty of times where I have told folks, I actually had a client that I advised to back out of the situation because it was not going to be in her favor. And we don't ever want that to happen. We want you guys to love us and use us in the future and tell all your family and friends. So we want to make sure this experience is one that's going to put you in a positive position at the closing table.
Yeah. So yeah, if you have questions, go ahead and book a consultation with Nikki and myself, and we'll be more than happy to answer those questions in detail with you. So how long will the process take? Well, with us, there are some variables in there when it comes to like attorney work and appraisal, but with us, we can honestly close a loan in about 20 days, 21 days or less. If we need to win a contract with that, we can even, move that up to like 15 to 20 days, but it all depends on how long the appraisal will take and things like that. But so rule of thumb, 21 to 30 days, just to make it easy, but we can knock it out of the park and, in less than that. We submitted 2 loans today. We received loan approvals 2.5 hours later. One was 1 hour and 28 minutes. One was about 2.5 hours for loan approvals. Of course, we have to wait on the title work and attorney work and nothing else, but loan approval, 24 hours, conditional approval is 24 to 48. So that's the easy part. Everything else is waiting on everybody else is the hard part.
Perfect.
So,
all right, folks, I do see these other questions in the chat. And if it's okay with you guys, just for time's sake, I will address all these, but I'm going to reach out to folks individually so that, we don't keep everybody, on this call too long. Because I know it's getting kind of late and folks have got other stuff to do as well. So we're going to kind of keep things moving along. Yep.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to, I see some questions. So Ashley, please book a consultation. Yoshanda, please book. Candace, I know you said, yeah, go ahead and book. We don't want to take up too much time here, but we're not going to get through the rest of the presentation. But yeah, all questions, we got you.
Now, we'll have another Q&A towards the end. So if you guys have, other questions, that you want to ask, then you definitely can. And like I said, I've seen quite a few people that are booking their appointments with me. So thank you very much. And I'll be able to more thoroughly answer all of your questions then. Mistake number 2.
Not getting approved, not getting pre-approved.
Not getting that pre-approval.
No. So pillars of mortgage approval, right? We have to have the credit score, average credit score required. You gotta have the income, down payment, and how much you pay at closing. All of these need to be verified to get your approval. It's better to have a pre-qualification versus a pre-approval. There's so many, people call them different things. So a pre-qualification basically helps you determine it helps you determine what you can qualify for based on your credit, your income, and your assets. Once again, bargaining power. We make sure that you're going to feel comfortable with that payment. We can back into the sales price with that, making sure you qualify, so you can get with Nikki and start making offers on those homes. So that's basically that in a nutshell for pre-qualification. So we'll verify that. We'll verify that once we go through the pre-approval process. You do the application online. It's real easy, less than 10 minutes. You can knock out the application. We'll call you to go over it, answer any questions we may have. Then we'll look at some documentation. We'll get everything buttoned up, and we can get a pre-qualification out within 24 hours if you have, the documentation necessary. Tips for a simple loan approval. Of course, just call us if you have questions. We need a 2-year work history, 2-year residency history. Any bills that you have, keep paying them on time. Do not skip a beat. Keep working at your current employer. You
Quit your job.
You can change jobs during the process if you want, but just don't quit your job, because we may get you pre-approved and then qualified and you're in underwriting and you quit your job. We're going to do what's called a verbal verification 10 days before closing. And if you are not employed there by the time we do our verbal verification, you will not get the loan. So do not quit your job. Just stay current on everything. Don't go out and buy new cars. And anybody looking to purchase a car, don't go from dealership to dealership to dealership to dealership, because every one of those are hitting your credit and they're digging your credit. Every single one of those car dealerships, you're digging your credit. Okay. When you work with a mortgage broker like myself, local mortgage broker, even if it's a local mortgage broker other than myself, we pull your credit one time and we can shop that one credit report to multiple different banks. Okay. So just know that. So one pull, we can shop it, other than kind of like, we're not a car dealership where, you go from car dealership to car dealership and they keep on pulling. That's a very important thing to know about a mortgage broker, because we can use that one credit report for 90 to 120 days. So don't make any large purchases. Don't change your bank accounts. Anytime you shift or move large amounts of money, we need to know where it's going, where it's coming from. Transfer balances. Don't close any credit cards. If you have a credit card that's been open for 10 years and you have a fantastic payment history and you close that credit card, there goes 10 years of payment history.
Right.
That's going to drop your credit score. Keep the card open and cut the card up and throw it away if you don't want to use it. Do not close that account. Okay. So many credit tips we can, I can tell you about. Call and book a conversation with myself and Nikki, and we'll get you on the right track.
Absolutely. One thing I want to point out too, folks, is all this information, when you guys book your calls with us, we are recording this. So I will be happy to send this to you so that you will have it after we talk, so that you can go back and kind of, review over. Because I know this is a lot of information at once. That way you'll have it so that you can go back and watch it again.
Yep. So rule of thumb, you want to keep your credit card utilization at 30% and below. Example, you have a credit card that has $1,000 high balance limit. You don't want to have anything over $300 on that credit card, because anything above that's going to kind of be a negative and it's going to drop your score a little bit. So 30% and below is where you want to be for the credit card utilization. So a lot of little tips and tricks we can tell you. So definitely book an appointment. Underwritten pre-approvals. We're going to review everything. Sometimes with conventional loans, we're going to get it underwritten. And then, once you submit the application to us, so you're going to have a hard underwritten file to make those offers with, which will beat out just a regular pre-approval. So We can do that for conventional loans. We can't do that in FHA yet, but it's coming with our technology we have coming up. So stick with us and we got you. Yep. And the benefits of being pre-approved is you can go in to that offer instead of, you calling Nikki on a Saturday and you haven't talked to a mortgage professional and saying, hey, I want to look at this house, I want to make an offer. I say it just hit the market. Well, you're going to be behind the 8 ball.
Right.
We need to get you pre-approved prior to, so once that home comes on the market, you can fire away and you can start offering on those homes. So that's
Right. And that is to protect you.
correct.
That's
100%.
to protect you, because there again, it is not our goal to get you into a home that's more than you can afford. We want to make sure that we get you what you're looking for, what you're going to be in love with, but that it's going to keep you in a good position and not, put you over what you can pay out.
So get pre-qualified. Roll this story,
Yep.
pre-qualified. So
We talked about this part some, but mistake number 3.
yeah, using your bank. So I have a lot of people, look, nothing against banks, right? Usually when you go to a bank, you're paying more for that service. You're not going to get, you're not going to get as detailed service. You're not going to get that customized service like you do with a local mortgage broker. You're just a number. You're just kind of coming through the door. They don't really care about repeat and referral business like we do. They have stricter guidelines. And when you go to a bank, that's all that bank has is, let's say, I'm going to say Bank X. I'm not going to name a bank, but let's just say Bank X. You go to walk in that bank and you say, I want to get a loan. You go to that bank. That's all they have. If that bank only has ARMs, adjustable rate mortgages, and a 30-year fixed mortgage, and they only have conventional financing, that's all they're going to try to sell you or put you into is just that. Whereas a mortgage broker like myself, I have 170 wholesale lenders at my fingertips. I'm set up with about 35 because that's all I really need that I can reach out to put you in that perfect loan program, whether it be an ARM or an investment product or a fix and flip or whatever it may be. And so each lender has different requirements, like certain overlays. Like one lender may not allow you to have a credit card late or a 30-day late on a rent payment, whereas I have lenders like that, they don't care about that. So it's great to get with a broker where we can look at your specific scenario and know exactly who to put you with. Like as soon as I get off the phone call with you, 95% of the time, I'm going to know exactly where to place you because I've been doing this for 20 years. So having that experience just to kind of know is definitely, a one-up on somebody when you go into a bank branch,
Yeah. And that's one thing that I talk about a lot too with my folks is when you go through a bank, banks specialize in checking and savings accounts. That's what they specialize in. Mortgages are just something that some of them do on the side. But when you go with Angelo and Leverage, you're dealing with a broker and there are a lot of options out there. So whereas you might go to your bank and they deny you because they're very limited, Angelo has a lot more option. So he has a much higher, opportunity to find something that will work for you that he can get you approved for.
Yep. Yeah, you're definitely not just a number to us. We treat you like family here, and you're part of the Leverage. I call them the Leverage Lending Group family of happy homeowners. So you're part of the family once you start working with us. So
100%, and that is the same with our group. Like I said, we become very close with our clients for sure.
So I get this question a lot. Is now a good time to buy? The answer is 100% because interest rates. This is it's a cool little analogy, right? You date your interest rate, but you marry your home price, right? Interest rates are going to go up and down, and as you can see on this graph from 1971 to today, it's a constant fluctuation, up, down, up, down, up, down. They have been, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they're the lowest we've ever seen. Will we get back there? We may not. But regardless, interest rates are still fantastic, right? High 4s, low 5s, depending on the loan program. It is still below the average of what they've been since 1971. So it's not a bad time to buy because home prices are only going up. Home prices aren't going down. The only time they went down was in the crash, and that was because of loose lending guidelines.
Mhm.
Since then, they've been on the up, basically the upward trend, and they're not going to stop going up. There's not going to be another crash because lending guidelines are not like they used to be. So, when you hear about bubble, there is no bubble. Trust me, there is no bubble because there's very, very tight lending guidelines and people are putting money down on homes. And it's a supply and demand issue.
Right.
Not enough supply with a ton of demand. So you're not going to have to worry about, a crash or thinking, well, I'm just going to rent for another couple of years and wait till the housing market cools off.
Right.
It'd
And
be
I
a minute.
love that you mentioned that and that you made that point, because that is one big reason that we wanted to do this webinar, is because we have a lot of people that are, making those comments to us, the market's going to crash, or we're going to wait till interest rates go back down or whatever. Well, that's not necessarily going to happen, but when you look at your investments and what you're putting your money into, obviously you want to look at what's going to be the best return on investment for you. And there is no better, more solid investment out there than real estate. Everyone has to have a place to live. So this is one thing that will continue to make you money in equity as the years go on. And if interest rates change down the road and you want to refinance, you have that option. If you come into a larger sum of money and you want to refinance to get your payment down, you have that option. And Angelo is the expert on that.
Yep. So
Now,
all right, I'm going to let you take it away, Nikki. This is your expertise. Roll with it.
All right, folks. So buying directly from a builder, why is that not a great option? So a lot of builders, and you may see billboard signs or get mailers in the mail or whatever, that talk about the incentives that they may be offering for you to skip your realtor and go straight to the builder. Well, what people don't understand with that is, obviously with a lot of things, things may sound a little better in the beginning to kind of bait you and kind of pull you in. And then you find out kind of the dirtier truth as time goes on. So of course, those builders are not going to be able to take the time with you to work together with your lender, or, work on, or look at what are the best options for you. If the house is more expensive than realistically you can afford, they don't necessarily take that into account. They want to sell that house. So having an agent that's knowledgeable, that is looking out for you and your best interests, and inspections and walkthroughs, is so vital, because even homes that are brand new can have issues. Homes that are brand new can have things that are wrong that you may not know when you walk through. You're like, that looks pretty, that looks great, but we may know that's not supposed to be like that. So we can then go to bat for you and be your advocate and make sure that all those things are addressed and fixed before you get to the closing table. This is a big one. This is a doozy.
Oh yeah.
Skipping your home inspection. So one thing that we do a lot of education with our clients about is the importance of the home inspection. Now, is it mandatory? No, it's not. It's optional. However, the risk that you take by skipping out on that $400, $500 home inspection could potentially be tens of thousands of dollars. So the things that we look for, or the inspector looks for during a home inspection, they're checking every nook and cranny. They are looking at everything. So there's so many benefits, not only to see, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be addressed before you purchase and close on the home, but also, to make sure that you are minimizing that risk, that you're not getting into a bad investment. And just like I said, I had a client personally that we got to that home inspection and we found structural issues that were significant. And, some parties on the other side might not have been quite as honest as they needed to be. But because I was knowledgeable and I knew what to look for, and I knew I was looking out for my buyer, I was able to say, hey, this, I know that you like this home, but I want you to find the home that you love, that is going to be a great investment, that you are not going to regret and have remorse on down the road. So this is just not something I would recommend. So that is a huge thing. And one other thing that I love about the home inspections is you also get a list. So there may be, nothing wrong with the home, nothing needs to be addressed, it's in great condition. But that inspection is going to tell you how old the roof is, how old the HVAC is,
Yep.
what's been done on the home. Has an addition been added, a fenced in back porch maybe that wasn't permitted, that could cause problems. So they're going to be able to see all of those things so that you are fully aware when you hit that closing table, about your house, what's going on, and you know exactly what you're walking into. And that way also, if there is a deal breaker, if there is something with the home, if it's full of mold or there's a big issue, you have the ability to say, "Whoop, nope, we're going to do something different," because that is not going to be a good thing to find out after you leave the closing table. All right, my friends, is everybody hanging in with me? You guys got a little quiet.
Now, how do you feel?
How
Excited,
do you feel?
confident, informed, still a little unsure? Put it in the chat box. You feel, have we answered some of your questions? All right, I love that.
Yay, I love to see that.
All right.
I kind of
Yeah,
feel like some
okay.
people want to put like the emoji with the exploding brain.
Nice. Informed.
I get it,
Awesome.
guys. We know this is a lot of information. This is, like I said, it's the biggest investment you will most likely ever make in your life.
Yep.
So we want to make sure that we are walking with you, that we're educating, that we're supporting you. I always tell my folks, if you need to call me and yell and cry and vent or get super excited and tell me all the things that you want to do to the house and what color your colors are going to be, I'm here. Do it. I love it. Like, I am here for you, and Angelo is here for you. So with that, are there any more questions? And again, we can, we will follow up. So if you have, questions that might be a little bit more in depth, we definitely just book that call, and I'll stick that back in the chat one more time so you guys have it. And that way you can get one-on-one with us, and I can video chat, FaceTime, text, email, whatever works best for you.
Anybody have any questions about inspections or the builders or lending, anything that you want answered right now? No? Okay.
No. Well, that's good. I guess we did.
I think we did our job. I think we did our job, Nikki.
All right. So next steps, of course, I have put that link in the chat so that you can book. We also have this application here. Like I said, if you feel confident, you've been working on this, that your goal is to buy a home this year, and you've been working on things, you're feeling pretty good about it, and you want to go ahead and take that next step, that is where you can go ahead and start that pre-qualification, which is awesome. If you have questions, if you're not, sure about something, and, you need to speak with myself or Angelo, please give us a call. Let us know. We're here to answer any questions. I love seeing all these bookings. I have a bunch. I'm so excited. So I think with that being said, we are so thankful that you guys
Thank you.
joined us.
Thank you, guys.
Look,
100%.
I'm going to do a little funny really quick. I don't know if y'all be able to hear it. Can you hear it? So little funny story. We have a newer agent on our team who focuses on millennials and our younger generation. And I played this for her a little bit ago, and she said, "What is that song?" I said, "What? Who does not know the Golden Girls theme?" But apparently she didn't. Bless her. Bless her, bless her. We love her. Haley Pooh.
Ah, you're right, Shamice. R.I.P. Betty White. She was
Yes.
something else.
She was one of my
something
favorite
else.
people ever. So here are all of our social media handles. We would love for you guys to connect with us, follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We also have some quite entertaining TikToks. At least we do on this side. I don't know if Angela has gotten into the TikTok world,
Oh,
but
I'm on the TikTok. I'm on the Insta. You just follow us on Insta, and you will be informed, and you may even laugh a little bit. So
that is our goal. As you can
Yeah.
tell, we're very shy.
Not
at all.
Yeah.
But you know, we genuinely love what we do, and I hope that has come through this presentation. You know, we're not out just, you know, make a fast buck or turn over client after client. You know, I have clients that, you know, I work 8, 9 months to a year, and that's fine, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna be right there with you at that closing table, celebrating and just having a good old time. So that is our goal. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Continue to book if you have not booked your call, and we will talk to you soon.
All right. Have a fantastic evening, everybody.